that's like, that's how you fucking die. And that guy did fucking die. So, you know,
Comes around, goes around.
something like that. Yeah. Oh, hello and welcome to Game of Nodes, a weekly podcast from independent validator teams. And we're back to full strength today. Purely, there was a little bit of confusion last week. I guess mainly caused by the fact that apparently some of us, by which I mean me, didn't put our projected absence in the spreadsheet. Merely just told everybody, and it got forgotten, resulting in a number of panicked texts received while up a mountain last week. So, yeah, hopefully, I haven't actually had a chance to catch up. I've only been back home a day or so. I haven't had a chance to catch up on last week's episode. How did it go?
Oh, it was great. You should have been here.
We never got past the news section. We hit the news section, and then we had nowhere else to go.
Lovely stuff. Well, on that note, I think it's time for Niall's News Corner. Do you want to take us through? Right, actually, especially for me, like, take me through what did I miss last week when I was off?
It can't be Niall's News Corner this week. I've not got any news. I've not made any preparations. I've been incredibly busy all week. I've got nothing.
It's a little bit of desperation in your eyes there, actually, which is very, very gratifying to see. The only news I have is I'm drinking some whiskey from Usurper.
Oh, nice!
Great. It's sensational stuff. Goes lovely with a Coke mixer. So
Ooh, was this the stuff from Denver or no?
No, I bought. It's a bourbon, isn't it? Did I send you a bourbon? I did. It was a
straight bourbon, maybe.
It was a short batch Elijah Craig. That was like a limited edition, and there was like a couple just in the store near me, and so I bought one extra. I figured that's good for early mornings.
Would you fuck that banner off? I can't figure out how to turn it off.
But when you say enough news, then the battery. That's how it works. It's driven by an AI. There's a powerful AI working behind the scenes here.
Come on, man. It's like it's blowing me out. It's making me confused.
You had you did have a surprised look on your face when that came up. You're like, oh shit. How'd you go? But last week you went 90 minutes with talking news, and today you got nothing.
Well, I had time to prepare some news last week, at least some talking points that we talked about for a long time. I have a follow up though, but can you turn the banner off because it's not news?
So if you want to do, I have only one piece of news that I'm aware of, which is that they're at OsmoCon mesh security demo. I saw that on Twitter.
Oh, was there?
I'm stoked for that.
There was. So is there? There must be a video up somewhere, huh? We should be able to find that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try to look for that.
We'll put it in the show notes.
You went to OsmoCon?
No, I didn't. I was just catching up on my Twitter notifications and saw it.
Oh, there's the boxing segment from OsmoCon, which is...
we will also put a link to the show notes.
That
was some sort of event.
That was something.
That was something.
That's for sure.
I don't know.
I feel like that a lot of the real potential grudge matches were just not represented there because, let's be honest, Jaquan versus like Grace,
the world,
or versus what was
Jacob?
Yeah, who was it that he blocked from working on Starport? Like that would be.
Oh yeah, who? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The lawsuit.
All right,
lady.
Right. Yeah.
So Grace was the lawsuit, and then who is it? Who was it that was wanted to work on it? The name escapes me. Apologies. Pull the small baby excuse. Ding ding ding. But that would have been a good grudge match. Absolutely. Potentially even two on one. Like it's just them duking it out over Starport. Grace comes in with the chair, like, you know, WWE style.
Well,
And
it would be
she's
the,
got
it
the
would be
chair.
the it would be the community with the chair. The community would come in with the chair.
I don't know. I feel like the community are kind of on the side.
Well, actually, no, it would have been Jacob with the chair because he was the one throwing around the chair, right, during the whole situation.
I mean, the difficulty
You know,
is
the one that just
when
sort
you
of
smell what
out of the
what
crowd.
Gadekian is cooking.
So Grayson,
That's a show title right there.
Grayson Jay
gotta name these
are
things
doing
after.
their ropes thing. They're bouncing back and forth on the ropes, you know, doing the coat hanger, going through the moves, and then that's when Gadekin comes out from the crowd, climbs up on the corner rope with the chair, with the fucking not looking where he's going behind Jay, and just fucking smack with the chair, and then the crowd starts throwing all the shit.
Who's
more chairs? They start throwing more chairs.
Yeah, more chairs into the ring.
But who's deploying? You know that thing where they would like literally deploy a pasting table, and then somebody would get like driven through the pasting table.
Yeah, or
What's
like
going...
yeah, or from the they put they put the thing above the
or they like
from the top.
In hindsight, like the level to which that shit was beyond the realm of staged is actually quite obvious. I know this is an obvious thing, but it depends on the age you were when first exposed to this. But you know, when you're younger, a certain age, you're just like, I wonder why there's a pasting table with two chairs on top of it, and this guy is about to jump off the ropes onto two chairs, a pasting table, and four people, and you're like, what an elaborate situation this wrestling match has devolved into. And then as an adult, you're like, it's like you know, like the South Park episode on it, where it's like actually just it's just theater, but they treat it like Shakespeare. It's kind of like that, isn't it? It's like the level to which it is scripted is
fucking awesome though. Actually, I don't know if it still is, because I grew up with it in like the 80s and 90s, where like it was like, you know, Stone Cold, and then The Rock came up, and then you have, even going back in the old days, like Coco Beware and like, you know, Junkyard Dog and all that kind of stuff, where you knew all those people, right? They all had like very unique personalities, and there were so many open personalities. You had like all this stuff coming forward, and then it got a little bit nuts, right? Because then like the WCW and the WWF and all that shit. But not to do a media recommendation, but I highly recommend people watch Dark Side of the Ring, which I think is done by Vice. I think Vice did it, and I think they're in season 4 right now. There's 3 other seasons. They're like 30-minute episodes and like backstories of like a ton of wrestlers and stories, and it is fucking fascinating. It is a great show, because there's so much death and shit around that time too, because of people getting hurt or like girlfriends dying, all this like stuff, and they do all the backstories, and they do like amazing interviews. It is totally worth it, even if you're a little bit of a wrestling fan. There is a ton of stuff back there.
If you want a different take on it about Vince McMahon by Behind the Bastards, he covers like how
what
the bourbon and the phrase "image nice." There's a guest appearance.
That was a guest appearance.
Behind the Bastards is a podcast that does an absolute fantastic covering of wrestling and like Behind the Bastards.
Behind the Bastard. All right.
Yeah. About like Vince McMahon and like how wrestlers are treated in the background, and like it's absolutely incredible. It's like a 5-part series. Yeah. Really, really good.
Yeah, and like so there. Anyway, all these stories are starting to come forward now and everything else. So I don't know we get in this. How we get in this fucking topic? Oh, so anyway, there's the reason I was bringing this up, because I just watched one last night about a wrestler by the name of Nick Cage, which is like, because Nick was like or he still is. They like there's a bunch of those like shock wrestlers that are like they'll dive into a vat of razor blades and shit and get all cut up and beat up and everything else, and they do like fights with light bulbs and shit. And I was just watching it because they were doing like a fluorescent light bulb thing, and he fell on something, and one like cut his jugular, and they literally life flighted him out. The guy was dead for 8 minutes. They brought him back to life on the plane and everything. He's just like, they sewed him back up. He got to the hospital, and he's like, I got to go back. And they put him back. He literally broke out of the hospital. He went back in the car. They wouldn't let him in the ring. They were like holding him back to getting in the ring, but he had like these stitches of his jugular and everything. After being life flighted, he was back, and like by the end of the show. Some of these guys are fucking nuts. It's great.
Because they aren't given health insurance by Vince McMahon.
So
we can't afford it.
Gotta go back, baby. All right, we'll put loads to that too. Behind the Bastards and Dark Side. And so anyway, back to Cosmos Wrestling. You know what I would have thought would be like Shane and Jake. Like, let's put a couple million stars up for.
Yeah,
let's do it. That would have been a good.
That's
one.
like at least $30 to $40, right? At current prices. I would have.
I want something.
I'd absolutely have paid to see that.
Yeah, Shane and Jake would have been a good one. What else? No, anybody you want to fight in the Cosmos?
Jacob would literally name one of about 30 people he's pissed off, possibly more.
All right, so let's go around. If you had to do a Cosmos wrestling match, who would be your pick? Frey. There's Frey.
What?
Literally.
Oh, you've got one. Nice.
Dude, look at that, man. Holy shit. Were you in the ring? Did I see you?
I wish I was.
Who would you go to OsmoCon?
Who's there? Because that's probably theirs.
What kind of special shit are you getting over here? What is this?
Did you go there?
You know what? I bet it's Jake. I bet Jake's there.
I'm being elaborately pranked, I think is what's happening here.
Actually, yeah, that would make sense if Jake was there. Because there was an arm that had like all the little fucking bullshit
he might be
on it that you get when you. I'm pretty sure that was a Jake thing. Yeah,
yeah, it could have been.
I'm sure people can work it out. Like that.
You look good though. You look good. All right, so who's your pick?
Who would you fight now? Let's go around.
Yeah.
So just from recent events, because I'm struggling. What about Code Hands versus Cosmo Station?
I meant you. Who would you pick? Like Null's in the ring. Who's on the
ring versus?
Oh, who do I want to wrestle?
Wrestle? You want to wrestle?
Who you want to wrestle?
I don't know, man. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I don't really care.
I feel like it might be Don Kryptonium for you.
Did you fight Don?
Not really. Like, imagine the smell.
From you or him?
It's in the ring.
This is bold.
I'm trying to think who you genuinely have beef with.
Not really anyone.
Much beef, right?
No, like people annoy me, but I just ignore them.
Doesn't have to be a beef. Just
I think you have like a very high kind of base level of annoyance at everybody, and
but I'm not out here like fucking arguing with people. I just
yeah.
I think I would go with the soft from Secret. I think he would be an absolute hoot just to hang out with, and he has like 3 kids, so he knows how to pillow fight.
I guess it depends. Like, are you in it for the actual fight? Like, is it kind of a fight, but it's also kind of a real fight, or is it just jokes?
See, the thing is, like, I don't think anyone in this room has like public beef with anyone. So I don't think
it's like jokes. I quite like.
Yeah,
I quite like to like. If it, those gladiator pole type situations, if it was that, I'd quite like to duke it out with Demi.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was quite nimble. Like, I don't know if you ever hung out with him, but I reckon he'd put up quite a good fight. Like, it'd be quite a close run thing.
He'd be scrappy.
Yeah, but I think if you landed like a really big hit on him, he'd fall off the platform. Like, I think that's how you need to do it. You'd have to kind of power rather than skill. Yeah,
I imagine
think you'll have
Demi
a high skill count.
I imagine Demi as being like really short for some reason, and you really tall. So it seems like a very David and Goliath type thing. In my mind.
He's not
No, I don't think so. He's like,
I haven't met him in person, so all I'm judging by is like
5'10", 5'11".
When he was at like the Steakfish Hacker House in California, I saw like him in the background or something. But that's about all I've got.
I feel like Usurper versus Artifact would be a good. I would be a degenerate by the side of that ring, fucking throwing money down to bet.
Are you kidding? John would kill anyone.
John would destroy me. He would kill me.
Knew it. I knew it.
I fucking knew it. It's on mute.
It's on mute, bud.
It's a great try, though.
It's a good try. Yeah, keep talking. Yeah. Hold on. Now he's going to disappear and then go off mute. I think he was.
So I wonder if for the podcast audience, there's Jake has just come into the screen and he's saying a lot of shit that no one can hear or understand because it's on mute, and now he's just walked off in frustration. I don't know. It must have been funny. The phrase
things he said. Oh my god, he's got some really unresolved anger issues. Like I think I'm just glad that nobody had to actually deal with what he was saying because that was really quite unpleasant. Yeah, do you want to just get, mate? Do you want to go calm down? Yeah. All right. Come on. Be cool, man. All right. Okay.
Was he into that bourbon before he handed
was in the Elijah?
He's just sitting at the table.
Sitting at the table.
He's getting uncomfortably close.
He's
talking again to the muted microphone.
I know, still. just this is perfect. Just keep it.
It's Command D, bro. Command D unmutes.
I saw the F-bomb there. I can see what's going on here. Yeah,
they're just having a conversation, sharing some
giving the bottle to go away.
Oh my god!
Here, take this down.
So Jake's not yet got the hang of how muting works on StreamYard. You might have also noticed that. So in between that vitriolic outburst and now.
Wait, is it still muted?
No.
I want to challenge Gatikin to the next fucking Cosmos drama resolver. I want to see that fucker in the ring. Let's go. You should be grateful that I've not said shit about Notional.
Now's your opportunity.
Just gonna see him in the ring. We'll figure it out. We're gonna resolve the drama. It'll be awesome. Great. Also,
what did you say? Was Demi in the ring?
No.
Gatikin and Demi.
Jake, who did you fight this week or this last week?
Yeah, I did.
Who was it? I forget.
Well, the other people I wanted to fight weren't there, so wound up getting
the other 100,000 people that
wound up fighting a Spade from Neutron.
Oh yeah,
it was fun. It was great. We had a good time.
Oh, it'll be in the video. Yeah, I remember. It was good.
It'll definitely be in the video.
Giuseppe was saying he wanted to see you versus Shane.
Yeah,
everyone did.
That'd be a good one.
Shane was there, right? I thought he was there.
He was there.
He was there. Yeah. Jacob, I don't know. Jacob would be a tough fight. I think he would just drop him and actually go after.
It's kind of like Meatloaf in Fight Club,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think
get off my fucking porch.
Whoever is spinning the pillow is going to get tired out before you move Gatikin because it's just a small pillow mass hitting
Bob had bitch tits.
It depends. It's back to what extent are you taking this as a serious competition you want to win versus
Well, that's what you need. You need some comedy, and then two people get in the ring. You go, oh shit, this is now serious.
This is beyond comedy.
You don't know if it's comedy or not comedy.
That's what you need. Like that other guy.
I mean, some people were really serious. Like Chango's fight. Wow, they really went for it. That was pretty. It's pretty intense.
Everyone's pillows are going. Wondering who the fuck Changa is.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but the pillows are going in some of those I saw.
I know. I quite like to fight Rama. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
Go against Australian. What kind of psychopath are you?
Proper dirty. So I'd have no compunctions about kicking his ass.
I don't know. He's pretty slight. I feel like a pillow might take him out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I only ever see Rama from here up. He looks like a guy with upper body strength. So I was like, he looks like he could take a punch.
He's not really slight. No, he's just got to hang shit on him.
Do you know what the fuck we're talking about? It has to be Null versus Rama Australian grudge match.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, it'd be Null and Rama versus the world.
There can only be one. There's two Australians in the cosmos.
Fucking Australians.
There's another one. There's that PFC dude. Actually,
he's Australian. I didn't know that.
He's Australian.
Yeah, he was in Melbourne the other day. We had a beer.
Now everybody knows where he is. Oh, what's his home address now?
He was in a hotel, so I couldn't tell you.
And his mother's maiden name, maybe?
Yeah. Date of birth. Just your basic facts.
Basic 411.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah, actually, I had a really good street food that day. It was like a banh mi, like a pork pork belly banh mi found in that street. I got to get back there, man. That shit was fucking good. And the beer was pretty good too, but it was like all the way over the other side of Melbourne, man. It took me like half the day to fucking drive there.
Melbourne's not that big. Like, how fucking bad a driver are you?
It's fucking peak hour all day here. It's like from 5 a.m. to fucking 10 p.m. is like peak hour. I think that they were doing some sort of roadworks too, which was really, really inconvenient. Fucked me over the entire week. Anyway, so I did back to my follow-up news from that I was talking about, like, you know, fucking 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So, do you recall, was it, I don't remember if it was last week, Schiltzy, or the week before, that I think it was the week before, we were talking about, like, you know, is there any is there any repercussions for leaving a network, or is there any easy way to leave a network? Well, I'm leaving a network. So after our conversation in which I said some networks that I may leave. Network? Well, I said fucking 2 weeks ago which one I may leave. And like a couple of days later, my biggest delegation on that network fucked off.
Maybe related or not, you think?
Oh, we're talking about Mars, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I don't know if, like, I don't know, you know, what the reach of this
not that far
podcast is, but like, hey, dude, if you were listening to this and you've fucked off because you thought I might leave at some time, well, thank you. You made the decision for me now, because the amount of delegation left is like insignificant. So I feel like I can leave without, you know, fucking anyone over too badly. So thanks. Closing off on the 15th of August. So don't delegate.
Congrats.
Rename. Yeah.
Have you zeeted that out on crypto?
Oh yeah, what's with that fucking X bullshit?
Are they actually renaming it X?
Yeah, it happened. Exhibit has bought it, right? It went through. So you know all that shit with the, like, you know, the SEC or whatever. It's all good. Exhibit has bought it, and like everything, he's renamed it.
I don't know like. Surely Exhibit didn't buy fucking Twitter, and it's
not
not
talking about like the rapper, yeah. That Exhibit.
That admittedly, that is an oblique old school rap. We just, you know, X gonna give it whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah,
but you know, the apparently Elon's been trying to call something X since like before PayPal. Apparently he tried to get PayPal called X. It was called like X.com or something like that, and they were like, nobody fucking knows what this does. Can we just call it something dumb, please? It's like payme.com. And he was like, no, it's X. And they're like, okay, overall, it's fucking PayPal. Let's go make $1 billion. Next question, Elon.
What are we going to call tweets then?
Elon sold PayPal for quite cheap.
Yeah, there's Zeets. You Zeet on X.
Gonna Zeet up.
Crypto Zitter.
.com does redirect to Twitter.
Twitter to like work on like actual stuff, and then it's like everything's crazy now.
I mean,
nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense.
I mean, luckily, who gives a fuck about Twitter anyway? Sorry, X, whatever it's fucking called.
X.
Yeah, but like they're getting rid of one of the biggest. Like, to tweet has entered the common lexicon. To just throw that out the window is so outrageous to me.
Yeah, but like fucking so was VHS. Like, you know, tape. You want to, you know, Blockbuster. Like, plenty of stuff comes and goes. I don't know. It's all just Am I right?
Nothing matters anymore. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, nothing matters
anymore.
God is dead. We killed him, etc., etc. Let's all go Zeet. That's the. You have to do the Zeet. You have to Zeet. You have to do that before you do it. You go, then you start typing. It's very inconvenient when you try and do it from a mobile, because you got to put it down, put it in your pocket, do the gesture. This is the Bohemian Rhapsody section of the second episode.
Exactly.
Actually, if you want to do you want to do as a guest, Jay? Do you want to do the drill tweet of the week?
Oh yeah.
So
guest reader.
So you need to flick through, just flick through it to a random place. Put your finger on a tweet.
There's probably some sticky pages in there. Just stay away from.
You don't get to pick it. You have got to just flick and point.
Right.
Flick and point.
All right, here. This is the tweet of the day.
What section is it in?
It's in muscles and fitness. Just did what he said. I mean, like, all right. Put pictures of fat 1920s babies up next to the muscle builders of modern day, and you will see that their skill levels are comparably equal.
I think it's maybe how you deliver it. Maybe that's the difference.
That's such a powerful delivery.
That was a good delivery.
Yeah.
Fucking emotion. I got all tied into that.
But I got that one straight away. Like, that was powerfully delivered. I understood and fucking knew it straight away. Whenever the fucking Frey delivers, I have to sit there and fucking process it for 5 minutes before I can laugh.
Jake's buying that book on Amazon in like 8 minutes.
You've not seen it. This is when you really sort out the people who've been paying attention to the show or not.
He doesn't watch this stupid ass show.
Right.
Like, I feel like
too much time in the Downline Palace.
That's right.
I could see there being an hour-long like podcast once a week where Jake just fucking like ASMRs drill tweets of the week into the fucking.
No, he's doing it. He's doing a fucking cooking show. He's doing a cooking show.
Yo, Hollywood, check this out.
Oh, double.
Flops over, face forward, lies stills. Becomes dust over the course of 100 years and is separated by the wind. The tweet didn't make any sense.
That's the typical one
that's more like it.
Yeah. Fucking read out.
That's more like it. That's what I usually stare at and go. Why
they often make more sense when you see them on the paper, on the page, because a lot of them have asterisks, which is the kind of common denoting of action taking place.
So of the action.
Yeah, so when it's like revs like asterisk revs motorbike, asterisk that.
All right. Here's one. A trail of rose petals leads you to a room bathed in warm candlelight. Piled on the sofa is every Guinness record book published after 2004.
I think it's all in the delivery.
That came from the sex category.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of need to know the category. Yeah.
There you go. Boy, if you're a fan of this segment 3 times, it's pretty good.
This 3 weeks worth. That was really getting your money's worth, isn't it?
All right. Well, yeah.
That was good.
Okay. Jake, what brings you to this side of the pond?
Secret plans.
Oh yeah,
this guy, hasn't he?
Oh, he was at. Yeah, he's at Cosmo first, or not Cosmo first.
Yeah. No, I've been in Europe for a month and a half. I'm a nomad now.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's true.
You're transient.
Yeah, sure, transient.
Wow.
Something.
It's a very sparkly emperor from Star Wars.
Yes, I'm now just completely evil, and I've joined the dark side, and I'm the emperor from Star Wars.
With purple.
I was thinking the other day, where do you hire henchmen?
The internet.
Is that where you get them?
Fiverr group, no.
It's got a Fiverr.
Wagner.
Yeah.
I think that's what's on. You can find it on the darknet and stuff like that.
Until they marched on Moscow, and I think they all got liquidated now, right? That's that.
Yeah, so I mean, not even for I'm not talking about a Dr. Evil situation, but what if you were just really rich and just wanted henchmen, thugs?
Yeah, private military.
Where do you get them?
You literally get them from a private military organization.
Oh.
Blackwater.
You know this,
I think.
How do you not know this?
And what are their purpose? Do they drive your car and make you breakfast?
Oh, okay.
Well, the U.S. Actually kind of sublets private militaries. There was a big thing about it a couple of years back.
Oh yeah, I mean, P.W. Singer's book, what's it called, Corporate Warriors, is a absolutely fascinating read on this from the early 2000s, and then obviously they wrote it at the end of the 1990s, and then all of it came true. All the predictions in the book came true during the invasion of Iraq. Subsequently, where they were the next big war. It's just going to be Halliburton printing money. we've outsourced all of our ability to do the logistics. So all these big companies can make shitloads of money. There's a huge incentive to go to war for like not huge reason, knock over a place, rebuild all their stuff. And probably a lot of the combat and auxiliary operations will be done by third parties like Blackwater. Hey, so you know MLMs, like multi-level marketing. What are they fucking called? Amway, who are like, you know, the big original multi-level marketing, Herbalife people or whatever. They're like big stake owner in Blackwater.
Are they?
Yeah, and they're one of the biggest Republican donors.
Yeah, exactly. They donate loads of money to make sure that their type of multi-level marketing isn't put under the same rules of Ponzi schemes or pyramid schemes. And they also have their own private army. And fucking Betsy DeVos, who was like the Trumpy education secretary person, and she's that same fucking family. Like they're literally like at the heart of American like political culture. There's this massive fucking pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like cool about it, but they're just like doing human rights abuses on the other side of the world. You're like, I didn't know that.
Capitalism, you know.
I know, but they're like, oh yeah, we want to sell some like junk fucking herbal remedies from our garage, and then like 40 years later, they're running a private military.
You gotta do something with all that money. What are you gonna do? It's only so many fucking arenas and shit you can buy. At some point, you gotta buy an army, right? Keep moving up.
Yeah, I feel
like the logical next step.
You can't squirrel it away forever, right? It's gotta go somewhere.
You can't take it with you.
You can't take it with you. Like what?
You gotta buy some tanks, march on Moscow.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. Even the marching on Moscow didn't work out so well for Prigozhin, did it? So,
what even happened there? I wasn't following that. I know like there was a march on Moscow, and then suddenly they had like met, and then they were like, just like,
forget it.
Yeah.
I guess in your time it would have been in the morning, like first thing in the morning, or was it in the middle of the night?
I think it was first thing in the morning that they marched.
Yeah. I was just enjoying watching the fucking live map of where the tanks were. It's
right.
They're driving towards Moscow. Still driving towards Moscow. You're like, ooh, Civil War lads.
I remember reading like
that seemed problematic.
I forgot what book it was a while ago, but there was a story about like in you never hear about like in World War II battles and things like that, where you'd have civilians watching like a battle, right? Or there'd be something where they'd be walking through a street, but you'd have people just living their lives, right? And there was video of that this time too. Did you guys see that, where they had like tanks rolling up and they're shooting it across each other, and people just standing on the corner with phones, just taking video of that shit? Like I'll see if I can find some YouTube videos, but literally they're standing out there like hiding behind a tree. There's guys running across like across intersections. There's tanks pulling up, and they're just watching. Then somebody walks by with like a child. Like it was pretty insane to see some of that stuff.
I mean, that happened during the Civil War. Whenever the initial battle happened, a lot of like the rich folks were like, "Oh, let's go have a picnic outside the battle so we can watch it unfold."
See what happens.
Yeah. And so then naturally, like half of them died in the crossfire and blah, 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 blah. But like the idea that they just pull up whenever people are like firing cannons at each other to go see the latest entertainment is just absolutely outrageous.
They didn't have good aim back then.
Yeah. Which makes it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No collateral damage. I was reading a thing recently about how people were more blasé in the past about collateral damage. I was like, I think the people that have been as the victim of collateral damage have always been less blasé about it. I'll be totally honest. But
was that in the Drill Tweet book, or where were you reading that?
Exactly? Oh yeah, shit, that was a Drill Tweet. Yeah.
Never mind. We were much more blasé in the past about collateral damage.
But yeah, but I think it was actually it was in the context of like American foreign policy and like and also like NATO, like you know, I think it was basically like the premise was something like, oh, you know, there used to be a lot of training accidents and things like this, and people were just like, you know, this shit happens. And like when it was 1991, like the Gulf War, there was so few losses due to enemy action that it started becoming a whoa. Like before that, the military really didn't give two real fucks about collateral damage, and then they were like, "Whoa, hang on! The majority of the casualties are collateral damage."
Like, wait a second.
So then they started like having to take it seriously as a PR thing. But yeah, YOLO, whatever.
YOLO.
I couldn't think of a way to end that. It's good whiskey.
It is good whiskey, right? Bourbon.
It's very Moorish.
Speaking about that bourbon, Usurper, how do you feel about that
I like
being drunk with Coke.
He can do whatever he wants.
Oof.
It's good straight. It's good neat. It's good little mix. It's fine.
What's the difference between
It's
bourbon
fine.
and whiskey?
That is a show on its own.
What was the question, Schultzy?
What's the difference between bourbon and whiskey?
Bourbon is a
whiskey
subtype of
or
whiskey,
whiskey
really.
with
It is
Y?
whiskey.
Yeah, to taste, it's a bit sweeter, but they're both whiskeys in some respect, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So whiskey with an E is Irish whiskey. Whiskey with a Y is Scotch whiskey, and Scotch whiskey has a minimum maturation time,
Mhm.
and is typically because of there's obviously like no fucking oak left here, but it has to be in. Well, it doesn't have to be in oak barrels, but it usually is. Although I guess they're always. Oh yeah, okay, cool, thank you.
Everyone take a shot and let's do Cosmos hot takes.
Apparently,
It's 7 a.m.
So you probably know this. Like in America, you can't reuse the barrels.
Right.
There's like a law from Depression to keep the barrel industry alive. So all the American barrels get used once, shipped to everywhere else that makes whiskey. Right?
Wait. You mean for bourbon creation?
Yeah.
Right?
So,
What are you talking about specifically? You're talking about specifically bourbon.
So yeah, you can't reuse the barrels. So the majority of barrels that are used in whiskey production elsewhere in the world, and
Yes.
actually also for things like sherry and stuff, I gather, because they're just good barrels and barrels are expensive.
I don't know
They
about
come
sherry,
from
but
the
okay.
States after
Yeah.
a first fill.
Yes.
So, and the other thing is that a lot of American bourbon is straight bourbon, which to my understanding is 2 years, right?
I think it is a minimum of 2 years. Yes.
Oh,
Correct.
That's what Ryan says in the chat. So
okay.
yeah, let's go with that.
2 years. So Scotch whiskey, I think, starts legally at 3, but 5 is like usually the minimum.
Right.
So there's also that. But the thing about most Scotch whiskey now is it's almost very rarely ever a first fill cask. So that's where you also get a lot of the other stuff. So bourbon is that much sweeter because it's just an oak cask the first time it's been used for the first time.
Yeah.
That's very
traditional bourbon. I think that rule's starting to be broken because we're seeing, like, I have a bunch of, I was drinking on this show, like, but they have a bunch of bourbons that are created off of barrels that are used for other things, right? Like you see a lot of wine barrels coming in being used in bourbon, and you see like bourbon barrels being used elsewhere, right? So they're all swapping barrels.
Presumably we'll say things like sherry and port and whatnot.
Yep, I think so. And the one I have upstairs is I think it was it's a rum barrel, but then they make whiskey in it, right? There's something like that where you get like a little bit of a sweeter taste or something like that.
Yeah. So, but that's a big reason why Scotch whiskey is the way it is in terms of flavor profile, because they have to pick where they get their cask from, because they've usually already been used, and that's part of the flavor profile, and that's why it's usually a darker color.
And Funky says some purists will argue that it's not made in Kentucky, it's not bourbon. I think it's not even just Kentucky; it's a specific one county in Kentucky, isn't it? I don't think it's like the whole state. I think it's like literally one county.
That would make sense. You don't really hear of a bourbon that's not from Kentucky, do you?
Yeah,
I can't really think of, because you hear of like things like rye whiskey and whatnot, but they'd be like rye whiskey and they're from a different part of the states, right?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, game of fucking whiskey today. I don't know. Do you know the answer?
Can't beat it.
No.
We're excited. It's a good topic.
I just drink it.
Yeah.
All right. So, what? Any other history? I mean, we're still. I guess even though we haven't really talked about anything, we're still kind of part of Null's News Corner, right? We're still making news here.
Fuck off with your banner. Hey, actually, I was just trolling through Twitter a little bit while you were talking about
X.
It's not Twitter anymore.
X. Oh, sorry, X. I can't say that. I don't know, mate. Fuck. So anyway, I came across this post with DAOs, and actually,
It's the DAO guy.
the DAO guy's here. But I mean, I don't know if this is the same sort of like level of involvement that Jake has in DAOs, but he's more like the DAO tooling, creation, builder, whereas this question is more about DAOs in general. Hey, maybe he's got a good insight on it. But It was just about, you know how there's like all these DAOs, like
DAO glasses before you can ask the questions about DAOs.
He just architects them. He has no idea how they work.
I hear you have a question about DAOs. Let's go.
So anyway, there's all these DAOs out there, right? And they have, you know, for example, like Arbitrum DAO, Uniswap DAO, Optimism DAO, Ethereum Foundation. They're all sort of DAOs with these huge treasuries. And the thing is, it's like most of them have huge treasuries of their own token. And, you know, the post was just about basically like, you know, it's not feasible to have DAOs with just their own token and saying that they're fucking rich. Like if it's not a diversified portfolio. So for example, like, you know, the Arbitrum DAO has a war chest of over $4 billion, but it's all in their own token. So is that, I mean, it's not really $4 billion, is it? If they sold
not really $4 billion, but it's still a fuck ton of money.
That's but if they sold all that,
Cosmos has.
And
they're probably going to do a better job of spending it than some of our organizations that should be like supporting public goods. I mean, like it's an obvious take, right? Obviously, like a lot of tokens are just completely broken, and the way we do tokens right now are also completely broken. But that's just part of crypto, right? Like we're speed running the evolution of things, and you know, every bear market, a new cycle of ideas like goes to the graveyard, and every bear market people come up with like what are going to be like the next ideas for the next cycle. And so, you know, some of the ideas that we saw in 2021 are not going to come back again. And, you know, I think we are going to see some new mechanics emerge. Like I'm very excited about augmented bonding curves. Like you should not just be minting like 10 trillion of a token. Maybe you can if you're like Arboretum level, right? Like, you know, $4 billion, they have decent liquidity. They have all like the, you know, like big VCs and insiders supporting them, and they're listed in all the right places, right? They could maybe like justify that, whereas like other people can't. But, you know, if you're just like going to start a DAO for like game of nodes, right? You should totally like, you know, use the new DAO augmented bonding curve model because it's way better.
Why is sorry, but
what does that mean?
I got a little stuck there when you said Arboretum.
Like with the plants?
I'm like, have I been saying it wrong all along?
It's actually pronounced Quasar.
Arboretum?
Arboretum?
Is that where I grow my weed?
Down. Hey, how about this? Like, what if, so just, you know, talking about these big Ethereum and L1 type fucking DAO situations, what if there was like built into DAO tooling, like a DAO to DAO swap market where people could like make proposals to be voted on by the communities instead of.
We already have that. That already exists.
Is it a market?
No one uses it.
It's a what?
It already has that. It just no one uses it. So, you know.
What would be like? Give me an example of why that would be useful.
So, say like your Arboretum DAO, and you wanted to like diversify your treasury into, I don't know.
Arboretum is not my favorite LTO.
Optimism.
Optimism. Okay.
So wait, which one's Arboretum and which one's Hopium?
Yeah. So I don't know. So from maybe the Arboretum DAO puts a proposal up like into a market to say, well, we want some optimism tokens, and people can put in a bid for it. They say, well, I can fill like, you know, 200 million optimism tokens, and we want, you know, $200 million worth of Arboretum. And you might say, well, we want to diversify up to $500 million, and then people can put in bids for it. And then at some point you're like, sure, we'll take those bids. And then you're a little bit more diversified at that point, rather than having like just a war chest full of Arboretum tokens.
Okay.
So the goal then being to not affect the actual price of the token, is what you're saying, right? It's just like an atomic swap kind of deal.
Yeah, just a DAO to DAO swap without having to do it on market. but still like a bid mechanism. So because you're talking like with large sums and volumes, but maybe Optimism Foundation might want to take that order and say, well, we want to diversify as well, and then
like a DAO OTC desk.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, it's
cool.
a really great idea. No,
It's a good idea. It's gonna solve all our
should go
problems.
patent that for sure.
Yeah, become a patent troll. I hear there's money in that. Have you patented DAOs yet, Captain DAO?
No, I wasn't the one that invented DAOs. We all know who invented DAOs. Never mind.
Chihuahua?
That's not.
I was gonna say Chihuahua. Like,
That's not as salty, but I'm not smart enough to know why.
yeah, I don't know. What? Because the DAO wasn't a DAO. It was just like
There was a paper in 1997, which was the first ever use of the word decentralized autonomous organization. You can go read up this paper, and it's actually about smart homes. I kid you not. The first ever use of DAOs in anywhere, the first ever use of that acronym, the first ever use of that term, decentralized autonomous organization, is about a fucking smart home.
Why?
I think that says something about it. Is like really like DAOs are meant to be like these like much more like cybernetic kind of organisms, if you will.
well, proof
Like a
of
smart
work,
home?
It was trolling for email security, wasn't it? So
Is that the source? Trolling for email security?
not quite. I'm being facetious, but yeah, it's a mechanism for reducing email spam, isn't it? Proof of work. That was how it was originally conceived, and the rest of it was all added on later.
Yeah, I think DAO swaps are really great, though. We should be doing more diversification. I was watching this podcast called Bankless recently, and there were like some folks from like Eigenlayer and like Vitalik was there, and they mentioned this thing called mesh security that's happening in the Cosmos. I thought it was interesting. Apparently, you can like cross stake your tokens to get like rewards in a more diverse basket of assets, and I see that. I think that should also apply to like renewables as well.
So
we've already coined every situation on this fucking podcast.
Why don't
we should have a montage of all of our big brain ideas that actually get fucking
seriously
like all of our big brain idea predictions that actually end up in the fucking wild.
Exactly. Why are we patenting this shit?
We're the Simpsons of fucking.
You are the Simpsons of crypto.
Hey, but look, people are going to go back one day, maybe, probably not, and use this for a social history of this part of the Cosmos ecosystem.
Oh my god!
And they're going to be like, they will be like, this was the Simpsons of Cosmos, like, but except maybe less likable.
Yeah, less funny.
Maybe it's the Simpsons of Cosmos, but after that point where the writing team sort of started writing Homer as a mean person rather than as like a mean and selfish person, rather than as just like an idiot, like because he was an accidental, he was kind of like careless up to a point. He just made mistakes. He becomes like series 13 or whatever.
Well, number one,
I think out of the Simpsons, you are Lisa.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You are a bit Lisa.
That's kind of a compliment. I don't really.
Oh man,
I don't think there's anyone else in The Simpsons I would want to be than Lisa.
I don't know. Santa's little helper always seemed pretty chill. And they just kind of sleeps and eats. I guess he shits, but that's always off camera.
I feel like I'm Barney.
Are you the Barney in the, when he does the film where he goes to film school and he does that like really elaborate, really good film, but he goes, and at the end it's just like, don't cry for me. I'm already dead.
I'm already dead.
Fan. Yeah.
Oh.
Who do you most relate to, Jake?
I think probably Homer, to be honest.
You're not Disco Stew.
Oh, maybe Disco Stew.
If our projections are correct, 1980 is going to be the biggest year for disco yet.
I mean, Lisa was already taken. Actually, the true answer would be a combination of Lisa and Bart. I think they're the most relatable characters on the show, especially at least in the good seasons.
What about Otto? Oh, I cannot run. I am so full of chocolate.
I'm sure someone's Rule 34'd that fucking combination.
Thank you. That's something I need. Actually, wait. Radio Wolfcastle is obviously the character you want to be. The goggles, they do nothing.
Yeah, Radio's the best, man.
Oh, I forgot about that.
This is not real acid, yeah.
I come home. Wait, what the hell is that fucking called? I can't. I'll think of it.
Up and
Randy
at
Wilson.
them. Up and at them.
My daughter has come home from a fancy East Coast college, and I find out that she's a nerd. That sounds hilarious. It's not a comedy.
Did you ever do the thing where there's all of the Radio Wolfcastle McBain films, and they always just like show you 5 seconds in one episode, like when they're watching TV, and then cut to something else, and they all form like a short Radio Wolfcastle film with like where you're just like, why do you care so much about this stuff, McBain? Here's what you really need to care about. They shows like a picture of his boat, and it's called Live Forever. So, when I retire in 2 days' time,
eyes to see you.
Who do you think would be the Mr. Burns of crypto?
Probably Jay.
No.
Smithers, release the hounds.
Are the hounds lawyers?
When he's pressing the button by the door, the hounds aren't coming.
He just keeps hitting that button. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, maybe that's it. So there was maybe. Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think it's got to be it, isn't it?
It's got to be it.
Crypto's still too early.
Who would be
Crypto doesn't still have that old money kind of vibe yet.
Fat Tony and Quimby. Those are another great characters from the early seasons.
Yeah, totally.
Like who would be like Quimby? Because Quimby is Quimby is great. He's so corrupt. I don't know. I feel like, and I say this in a kind of loving way, I feel like there's a bit of Mayor Quimby about Jack Z.
There's a bit of Quimby.
Yeah, well, because he's basically a comedic version of a Kennedy, right? It's like an exaggerated comedy version of a Kennedy, and I feel like
Ben Davis says Jacob, but I think Jacob is more of an analog to that gardener guy. What's his fucking name?
What, Groundskeeper Willie?
Yeah.
That's
just
why
going up on crazy shit all the time.
All the Scots.
I mean, maybe not ripped and greased up, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. To be fair, the grease me up woman scene.
I mean, we should definitely run a poll, right? We should run Cosmo Simpson's poll. Like, let's do it
and vote for it.
Yeah.
DAO.
It sounds like DAO tooling. If ever
it does. You need a multi-level vote. Yeah.
Isn't Jacob more like Nelson Muntz?
No,
I
don't think so. He's
I've got a good one. Who's Snake?
Yo,
you bandit. She needs premium. Premium. Wallet Inspector. To be fair, Wallet. You know what? That's Todd Songroth, isn't it? From Aquadow. Wallet Inspector.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I don't think that guy really was a Wallet Inspector. How do you Poindexters ever survive in the real world?
Fucking hell.
Jacob is the comic book guy from Portobello. That's actually pretty good.
What is the line?
What's the quote?
Comic book guy? Yes,
that's pretty good.
That's perfect.
Ooh, fat sarcastic Star Wars guy. You must be a devil with the ladies. He's like, head down.
What's the one where he's dying and he's covered in the loot tight and he's like, must make classic Lorne Dean pose from Battlestar Galactica. Best death ever.
That's funny.
Oh man,
that's pretty funny.
So speaking of popular media, I hear the Barbie new movie smashed that other new movie,
Oppenheimer.
Moving on.
I'm not sure movies can do that now.
Hey, what was
And now
that?
with AI,
Rule 34.
we could
yes.
we could we could make that movie with AI. We could make that movie with AI.
What was the thing I saw on X that there was like a bunch of the Cosmos girls were like putting up some sort of Barbie post? What the fuck was that about?
I mean, what?
Huh?
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 That sounds like this is a technical validator podcast. Right? I only unless it has a type declaration at the start of it, I just keep fucking scrolling. Unless it has the Unix command, unless it has a $sign at the beginning, denoting that there is going to be information about a command on the Unix command line, I keep scrolling. Validate.
You know, on $sign before the command, I have to say that it is really fucking annoying when people put in documentation the actual $sign when they're doing that. You can't fucking copy paste that shit with the double click. It's annoying.
It's just to troll the noobs, you know.
That's right. Why does this not work?
I don't know why this command is not working. I copied it from the documentation.
Why does it not find $sign?
Almost like I have to think about it for half. You do realize, like, if you do accidentally copy the $sign, you just like Control A and just delete that shit.
What does Control A do?
What do you mean Control A?
Does that go to the start of the line?
Do you guys not fucking
Ding,
have...
ding, 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 ding.
Holy shit!
When you pay? Oh, you mean when you pay? You mean when you paste it in?
Navigation on muscle memory? Like, what the fuck?
I didn't know what you were talking about. When you paste it in, you mean Control A to just delete that thing. Yeah. Okay.
You Control A to the start, and then if you have a keyboard with an actual delete key, it will delete forwards.
I do.
So you can be like Control A, delete, and okay, I can't be bothered to get it, but there's an IBM SSK underneath the desk here. And
I think Command
backspace. You can just go.
Doesn't Command backspace do that normal delete?
It does. Yep.
Yeah.
You can also just do it.
Actually, I think it's the other way, right? Delete is forward and backspace is back. So it'd be. I think you want.
Yeah. Delete is forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So you would delete. You're deleting in that sense because I think it brings you to the front of the line. Why are we talking about this?
I didn't know about that Control A. I feel like a fucking noob. Should I? Is there a book I can read on
Have
that?
you not like? You do it like you do not know Control A, Control E, right? It works everywhere, like literally everywhere in almost any situation.
What's Control E?
End of line.
Oh, right.
Oh.
I mean, A doesn't really seem.
Any idea how much of your life you've wasted by not?
That's why Null's arrows keys are fucking worn down to nubs.
Right?
Just fucking
like a cat.
Just fucking worn down. They're just like little pyramids, just fucking worn.
I did it. I did at some
Your
point.
fingers worn down to just the knuckle.
It's fucking arrow.
There is like.
Are you testing it?
You know you can word skip as well now.
I would love to see him post a governance prop with the command line. He's just gotta go back to like fix one thing at the beginning. He's just like
fuck.
I do use the word skip. Isn't it like Control arrow or Command arrow or something?
He's got he's doing the two finger. Just
I do know that one. That's quite handy.
Look, we're laughing.
Man.
It's nothing personal, man. We're laughing. We're learning.
We're laughing. They're laughing with me. Everyone is like,
yeah.
You know, in some text editors, you can do multi-line editing, right?
Hey,
nice.
One episode at a time here. Let's start with Control A, Control E.
Sublime, depending on your key bindings.
Does anyone use Sublime anymore?
Command. Well, you can use the Sublime bindings are also default in a couple of other editors now.
Command D.
Command Shift L is put me a cursor at the end of every line that I currently have under selection. Now that is the kind of command you're like, fucking nobody ever needs to do that. Yet next time you're doing literally any kind of editing, like I've used that for fucking reformatting.
I did that today in a Docker Compose file.
You're just like, fuck, I have a bunch of lines I need to get to the end on bullet points. You're like, bam, the amount
I do like to select the next same word thing. That's good. That's handy.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends on your editor, but that's what Control Space D in Emacs, and it's Command D in Sublime, right? And I think Atom and VS Studio, or no, what's it called? VS, the one that kids use. VS Code.
Yeah, all the kids use that now.
It's also Command E, isn't it, by default?
range.
Yeah.
You know, isn't Sublime deprecated? Who the fuck still uses that?
I think
No, it's still actively maintained.
I don't think it's popular anymore. There was definitely a time where like before VS Code, like Sublime was really popular.
Yeah, they changed the licensing on it slightly, so you have to pay for the new version. So Legacy, if you pay for a license before, you had to buy it again, and that was quite unpopular.
I think it was really popular, and then like the stigma of using like VS Code sort of went away, and then people were like, "Well, it's actually good."
after they rewrote it and everything else, yeah.
I mean, they rewrote the whole thing.
It's fucking awesome. It's really good.
I'm still too fucking contrarian to use VS Code for anything other than the live share. Yeah,
there is just really
cool. Emacs, baby.
Emacs in the terminal, yeah. Just
Emacs, Sublime for like text editing, like text.
Really?
Or front end code, and Emacs for everything else. Basically.
Old habits die hard. You just learn all those random key combinations and all the random tricks, and you're just like,
once you've learned Emacs and configured yourself a good .emacs, you've invested so much of your time. Although I did switch over to Doom Emacs on my work laptop from this guy's recommend. To be fair, it's good. Doom Emacs, yeah.
If you're gonna go down the Emacs rabbit hole, which
I'm not,
I can't say I would recommend that, but
not at my age.
Yeah,
by the time I learn, I'll be fucking dead.
But your children will inherit such a nice Emacs config.
If you want an editor,
live on forever.
If you want an editor for life, and you want to try Emacs, I recommend Doom Emacs. Check it out. Doom as in the video game.
Hold on.
I think any new like coders or anything that are stepping into Emacs have been heavily influenced by someone who was born in the 80s.
I agree. Or Vim. But Vim is actually fun to use. Emacs sucks.
You can use it. No,
that's factually incorrect. You can also use evil mode in Emacs, and then you get all the power of Emacs.
Have you not heard of evil mode?
Yeah, exactly. Evil mode standard.
Hey,
SpaceMax is default evil mode, and SpaceMax is probably the single biggest Emacs distribution.
Doom is also evil mode. So if you like Vim, check out Doom.
Yeah, and it's actually easier to config,
and it's awesome.
Schultz, do you know how to tell when somebody's an Emacs user?
They'll tell you.
They won't shut the fuck up about it.
That's right.
So I was once,
and then they see you pop open an editor on your screen, and they're like, "Listen, Mister."
I'm sending in VI commands all day in this fucking podcast from now on.
Yeah. Okay. I was once on a train, and I accidentally stood next to a vegan and somebody who had recently got into CrossFit. They knew each other, and they were like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a little while." To each other, and it was exactly like the joke about.
Yeah, it would have been exhausting.
Yeah, be like, I use Emacs.
They were both fucking big Emacs users, but one of them did evil and one of them didn't, and it was like
they can't even talk to each other.
They had to pull them off each other. They were screaming. It was like the cat and the woman screaming. It was like that. Bad vibes. Bad vibes.
So Schultz, you need to fuck off.
Yeah, I need to take off. I have to. Well, I've got people coming over, so I need to peace out.
See you, dude.
Bye. I'll send photos.
Of what?
Is it hang on, we got a tweet for that.
Of what? Wait, are we all supposed to send photos?
What a fucking sign out. Oh, see you a little later. I'll send photos.
So Drill has a tweet about this. Sex. Now that I have your attention, here are some pictures of me and my wife having sex. That was actually probably.
See, I think it's on the delivery. Wait, have Jake read that one.
Yeah, I feel like Jake can do it better.
Let's do it. Let's have him read it.
We already lost.
We
you can remember that one,
right? There's 600 pages in this fucker. Like, as it says on the back.
Volume 1 too.
What is interesting? The phrase that you went straight to it, like it was like you
had a thumbnail
tagged or something.
Right.
Thanks.
Should I just read a different one? I can't find it.
No, now no one is the real tweet episode.
You gotta read that one.
Oh,
you gotta get real close to the mic though. Like
I have to compose myself for this. Oh dear. This is in all caps, so it's a
all right, all caps.
I will never pimp. That was a tweet.
That's it.
That's
it.
This is so cringe.
I mean, is it more cringe than that one? That's even worse.
Oh my god, that's even. Oh my god, yeah. I'm like, I can't even talk. I got sucked off at historic Colonial Williamsburg.
That one's pretty good, actually. That one's actually pretty funny. Oh man,
Amazing. How did he come up with a whole book of this
trying to
shit?
go 10 seconds. He's laughing and choking a bit hard.
That was pretty good.
So, Jake,
So no, if you don't know some Unix commands, you do know about double bang, right, and all that shit.
double bang.
You know, exclamation mark, right? You know about double exclamation mark, right?
I don't even know where that is on my
do the
keyboard.
fucking last thing.
It's not a key. It's you got the same key twice.
Yeah, do the fucking last thing.
He's like, I don't have a double exclamation key.
You know when you fuck something up and you want to do it again, but like sudo it or whatever, you do like sudo double bang.
What?
That means run the last command. So if you do
right.
sudo with 2 exclamation points, if you fuck something up and you don't type
Hey,
sudo,
folks in the chat, throw in your fucking
instead
Unix
of
stuff.
I
hitting
love
up
that you. I
arrow,
love that you guys are saying
Sudo.
sudo and sudo like separately.
yes,
like,
or yes, or H. Ooh, that's
like I'm sure we could do a poll on like is it sudo or sudo?
it's sudo.
not Sudoku. It's sudo.
That's sudo.
Oh,
Sudo.
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 Super user do sudo.
Well, sure.
Okay. All right. It's just, but when you put all that together, it's sudo.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, but it's still
now that you say it like
Now
that,
you say it like that.
Have I been saying it wrong the whole time?
How do you say it?
Pseudo.
Yeah, I said sudo.
Sudo.
But that doesn't make any sense. Super user do makes sense. So maybe it's sudo.
It is like GIF.
Well, if it's sudo, it'd be SUEDO.
This is blowing my mind though.
Stabbing white.
Sudo.
I mean,
Sudo.
Suede.
Sudo.
Swidu.
It literally just occurred to me that there might be someone out there that like says sudo, and maybe they actually have a compelling argument. But
It's
they're
not
still wrong.
I mean, they're still wrong, but
you could be
it's okay to be wrong.
GIF or GIF.
Yeah.
If you say
GIF.
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 Okay, thank you.
It's a hard G. It's got to be, hasn't it?
GIF. Sudo. Sudo the GIF.
Yeah, sudo the GIF.
There you go.
Sudo the GIF. No, it's definitely sudo the GIF. Sudo the GIF sounds a bit like an REM song.
Sudo the GIF.
You can kind of imagine Michael Stipe singing that, can't you?
Sudo the GIF.
Yeah, exactly.
What
It's kind of
is-
like What's the Frequency, Kenneth, or something. You know, that kind of period of. Yeah.
What is this?
Pound in docs because always use sudo. No figure. Reese,
Alright,
completely, you locked up there.
He's
All just locked up.
Second, we'll just. I think we might have to restart him. Hang on. Just
Super user do.
yes. So what? But
It's fine. I don't give a shit.
Sue, because Sue is switch user, right? So you're also like. So what would you do? You know when you do Sue,
I think it's super user, isn't it? Not
Yeah,
not
Sue.
switch user.
you do Sue. No.
Oh,
it's-
it might be switch user. Either way, you're
'cause
right.
well,
It might be, but it is definitely do.
SU and
Yes,
then
it's-
a user, which is user, right? So,
Yeah, I think it's switch user do. That's right.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's
and
correct.
by default, that's
But
root.
do is not an acronym, right? It's do. Like I'm doing something. I'm running this command as the switch user.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to. I'm just building the wall of why you guys are saying it incorrectly.
I wonder why. I guess maybe the do. I wonder if the do thing is like Lisp do. Probably.
Oh,
That's
what?
procedural, isn't it? Lisp is 9057, so it kind of precedes almost everything.
Maybe. Could be.
Good question. I mean, obviously, do is also a pretty common word. Hey, you know, the shortest valid sentence in the English language is go with a bang after it.
2 bangs or 1 bang?
3 characters. Yeah, pub quiz. Pub quiz one for you. Pub quiz.
Go.
That is the shortest what?
Sentence.
Sentence. All right.
Yeah. That sentence.
Cool, man.
Shorts. What else could it be? Shortest one. Are we out of news yet? Are we still in news?
This is all news, by the way. All of this segment has been
Still news, right?
Valid.
Did you see that governance prop on Juno that actually relayed to open source that wasn't a total shit show?
Balls up. It's because it wasn't a fucking 2-line prop.
Who wrote that?
Didn't Rama also help? Didn't you also help?
I did not help. I think
Dimi.
it was mainly Dimi, and I think a couple other people weighed in.
Fucking awesome.
Sure.
Dimi spent a while on that fucker.
Yeah, it takes a really long time to get all this stuff right. Like,
yeah,
it was just well written and it was straightforward, and like everybody's voting yes. Like after they got out of that stupid book and governance. I swear to God, governance is 90% is presentation.
For sure.
It is like it's 10% content.
It's also so hard is because like to do anything you have to like really, you can make the right decision, right? But then again, 90% of it is presentation, right? So you have to
like anything else
to like present it well. But it's important to do that, So
but it's like that question recently about like what absorbs the majority of time behind the scenes on like I guess like any project, but especially anyone that has like a large community presence. It's like a big portion of the time is always fucking firefighting and herding cats.
So much.
And then like the amount of energy to produce like the amount of time it took like Dimi to put that together and stuff and to like get it right so there was even a chance of it passing and all that kind of shit. It's like like what's the thing that Polkachu, like the intern, always says about DAO politicians? It's like there really is a skill set that is like
for sure
DAO politician, and it's basically identical to
an actual politician.
Some combination of doing external PR and herding internal cats, and it takes fucking ages to do either of those things.
It's politics.
It's just politics. I mean,
how's that Elijah Craig doing, by the way?
It goes down smooth, alarmingly smooth, I would say.
I like that. I like that bottle.
For somebody that doesn't drink a huge amount anymore for obvious reasons,
Jake's
I'm probably going to have a pretty solid hangover tomorrow.
Sweet.
So
who's on baby duty tonight? Who's got 2 thumbs and not on baby duty tonight?
He's on baby duty.
This guy.
Yeah, I know. I'm an expert. I have.
He wouldn't hold the baby at first, so I had to like toss it around.
You will not break it right
it's
off
like literally I can hold it upside down. Here we go.
Holding babies is scary. They look.
Oh shit! It is. I know, right? You get the whole neck situation, and they move around a lot. And you're
a
like,
lot of responsibility. They seem very fragile.
It's not. They don't seem.
And then they're also like
they are in fact.
They're like looking at you like. They're really intense. It's babies are really intense. You have a really wonderful and nice baby. It's like but.
Do you feel like it's trying to read your mind, Jake?
It's trying to get his
looking at you.
If he stares enough, he can read your mnemonic. That's what I told him. I prepped him before he got here. I was like, Uncle Jake, there's we want to take control of the Juno core multisig.
Yep.
So if you could just get that mnemonic straight out of his ledger that's in California, that would be, baby, this is what you can do. We're gonna take back control.
I think
we'll put it on the side of a bus.
He's making good progress.
That's a reference for all the British people that watch, all 2 of you.
Dude, you're punching out Cosmos people on Monday, holding babies on Tuesday. You're a badass. Your life is like crazy, man.
What's he gonna do? He's kissing babies.
He's punching contributors and kissing babies.
For OsmoCon, I was literally like, I've like not actually gotten a lot of sleep recently.
Yeah, I'm sure House with a Baby is the right place to get caught up.
No, I just got here. Actually, I think I'm gonna sleep better here than I have for a while. But because like to get the mesh security demo ready, like let's just say there were many nights where I like went to bed at like 5 a.m.
Getting it working.
That's literally every single year of your life to date.
Right, well,
pretty regular.
Maybe I'm a night owl, but
this is.
I imagine.
And Reese, I did tell the baby about Douse. Yes, we're starting Baby Dow. Let's go. It's going to be one of the first DAOs to use augmented bonding curves.
You know what?
Rama's got a participant that could go to Baby Dow.
He wasn't even coming to visit. I was just going out for some bread and milk, and I just saw him
ran into him.
Sell DAOs door to door. He was just like knocking on and just being like, "Hi, ma'am. Have you heard? Bonding curves?" And hey, don't shut the door. And I was just like, "Hey, Jay, what are you doing?
We need to get more people in crypto. You know, we got it.
You
need the sandwich board, Jake. You know the sandwich board.
That's right.
What the DAO is.
I mean, honestly, if augmented bonding curves doesn't bring people in, I don't know what the fuck is going to.
Yeah.
Right. Like that is. I mean, that if there's ever an on-ramp, it is augmented bonding curves of DAO. Yeah. ABC. It's ABC.
I'm learning about IBC, ABC, DAO.
It's the ABC.
How can you not be excited? Like,
seriously.
Wait.
All you people.
B bonding.
So, I mean, while they're off talking their own little world, I imagine that there's not even really a bed for Jake to sleep in there.
He doesn't sleep on the floor. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Couch.
To sell augmented bonding curves, you need to have a pair of these brass balls. I wish I had that scene like on quick fucking records. Like
I know we should add that as a spot.
ABC bit. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, you just gotta
is there some sort of
someone's door and just be like, "Hey, do you want to raise money? You want to raise money for your club or your secret society or for your baby,
or your baby,
or you,
or your baby,
or your."
Does your baby need shit coins?
Yeah, now is the time.
That's definitely a
buy your baby a grab bag of shit coins for their future security.
Perfect.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness.
I was hanging out with a friend at the weekend who used to be like big into a bunch of coins, and we were having this exact same like kind of joke, not joke. It was just like, "Hey, so are you putting any shit coins aside for you?" Because they've just had kids. It's like, "Are you putting any shit coins aside for your baby?" And he's like, "It's all going to zero. Why the fuck would I do that?" And I was like,
"No,
well,
not
like,
exactly.
Not the ETH, baby."
Not exactly.
Oh dear. Fucking hell, that was quick. Well done.
Always be bonding.
What was that?
Always be bonding. That's the one. Always ABD.
Goodness.
Always be Dowing.
Always be down. ABD.
Down with the bros. Broing down with the DAOs. No.
No.
No, it's not. It's not passing the marketing sniff test.
Not.
There.
It's not.
I don't know. I think we need something a little bit more catchy. You know, we need something like a rap, right? Like,
yeah,
we need to like have it.
I listened to some of Ethan's rap albums.
We have to rap.
And I would say his code is more.
No, it's Cosmos. It's Cosmos tradition. At Cosmoverse, we gotta have a rap about this.
Is it a tradition?
Really?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it you volunteering? Yep, that's volunteering.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
All right,
yeah.
fun.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I need to challenge Ethan to a rap battle.
Which Ethan?
Well, the other Ethan is on sabbatical, so probably Bucky.
Is he on sabbatical?
Yeah, he's on sabbatical.
What's he doing?
Probably just chilling. Nothing.
What does that mean? Does that mean you get a real job for a little while out of crypto? What's a crypto sabbatical exactly? Like, is that contracting?
I think it's where you like step back and you like just like
work a real job for a while.
It's the opposite of
have some like less stress. Like
it's the opposite of a regular sabbatical, right?
I'm on sabbatical at the moment, and it involves putting on a shirt and tie. And
Crypto sabbatical is when you get a real job for a little bit and then come back. It's the opposite of your actual sabbatical.
Yeah, I'm having a sabbatical at McDonald's at the moment. I'm hoping to become the shift manager on my sabbatical soon. It's real exciting so far. I've got to tell you, I've learned a lot of burgers. Assembling salad. That's been cool.
Crypto sabbatical.
That's coming soon to a news section near you.
Mm.
That's
so funny.
It looks like Rama's just gotten out of bed. Welcome.
Yeah, well, welcome, Rama.
Rama, so we need to get you and Null to fight in a ring for our amusement on a future episode of the Poddo. I hope that's okay. We'll hit you up with some details. Like episode 100,
No,
episode 100 grudge match, Rama versus Null.
Was it that?
Do you realize that even though Rama is just up the road, it's like a fucking 3-day drive from here?
Did you? I think Jake just slipped on his silk robe and fell on the ground.
He just fell
Dude,
on
that
the
silk
spot.
is
Yeah,
silk is really.
Today. we have robes for you. You know,
That silk is really dangerous. You got to watch out for that.
great fight.
Wait, I
Rum,
thought it
bare
wasn't.
knuckle.
Yeah, you guys could also do like a duel, kind of something like that.
I thought they were on the same team though. I thought there was those two versus like a couple kangaroos or something.
Oh, is it like Null?
I would pay for that.
No,
I would pay to watch
But
that.
the
Yeah,
kangaroos would
definitely.
win.
Excuse me.
Well, it's not like fighting a swan or something. Like kangaroos are fucking dangerous.
I know.
I would put my money on Noel and
I put
Rama
my money on the
for sure.
kangaroos.
The standard
Yeah,
way to
different
fight
ways.
around here is to smash a few
Have you seen a
bottles.
fucking kangaroo?
I've seen Wake and Fright. I know how to fucking fight a kangaroo. You talking to me like
Oh yeah, you get up close.
Oh shit! Wake
I'm
and
well-
Fright reference.
I'm well versed in how to fight kangaroos.
Your
First
first
you
time
get-
in the Yabba?
First you get pissed drunk,
You get
And then
pissed
you get-
drunk in a
then you
fucking
get into a
ute in the
Jeep.
roof.
and then you go out and you shoot those fucking things, and then you you put the lights in
You
their
go on a
eyes,
fucking
and then you
massacre.
punch them in the face. I know what the hell I'm doing. I could do this. Ramos says we fight
Okay.
with knuckle dusters with nails. Jesus, it's pretty
So,
specific, dude.
100th episode of Game of Nodes. We go out to the outback and we
Live stream.
and go find some roos. Is it illegal to?
Uh,
I'm guessing it's illegal to just like kill kangaroos in Australia, right?
You need tags.
Oh, you do?
Tags?
You can get a tag or two. I don't want to kill a
It's
kangaroo.
the 100.
I don't-
It's the 100th episode. I mean, it needs something big. This is a massive show.
I don't want.
It's a
I
really
don't want
important
to.
show.
There's 4
is it.
people on right now.
I think the problem is more the guns than the tags.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can
I thought
get
you just-
tags easy. You just apply for some fucking tags. But the problem is like getting the weaponry to have a mass slaughter like that is.
You can't use can't get like a potato
I
can
was just
or
bringing
anything,
it
right?
from America, right? Like,
You can bring-
Like guns are relatively hard to get in Australia if you don't have like the licensing shit, right?
yeah, that's
You
why we
don't
just
have a-
find in
you don't
America.
have-
and then
yeah,
we
I got,
take them on
I got
boat.
guns right here. What do you want?
Yeah, you need like you need a license and a reason. You can't just go to Walmart and buy a fucking automatic shotgun. Like,
A reason? 100th episode's not a reason?
Maybe the Australian government. will
hey,
allow it.
Mr. Government, man, I need some fucking automatic weapons for the
It'd be
100th
kind of- It'd
episode.
be kind of funny if what we eventually get, when we get Pablo Escobar, it's for smuggling guns into Australia to do the 100th episode. Like, what do you guys get done for? Oh, those crypto guys, yeah, they got busted. All right, were they money laundering? No, they were gun running.
they're yeah.
No gun running for the
They were,
potty.
they were flying a light aircraft into Australia with about 8 automatic shotguns to kill kangaroos. They had the tag, they just needed the gun.
Yeah, the tag.
They hijacked a
had the
Walmart
tag.
truck and
They had-
diverted it to Australia.
They had one of those helicopters out of Mad Max, but but they didn't have any weapons.
You seen that one of those expert rates videos? There's one about, I can't remember if it was helicopters or tanks, but it's the scene in Rambo where there's the helicopter and the tank, and they somehow ram the helicopter and the tank together, and they get to the end of the scene, and he just goes, "Well, it had a helicopter and a tank in it, so I have to give it 1."
What?
I have no idea. Is that a drill tweet?
You not seen that scene? From is it Rambo 3 where they just
Oh, it might be 3.
tank into the helicopter, and you're like, this is an attack helicopter. It can kill that tank from 3 kilometers away. Why did he ram
Gonna
an
run into it.
aircraft into an armored vehicle? It's kind of baffling. Yeah, Rambo.
What's baffling is that by Rambo 3, you're still paying attention to what's going on. Like, Rambo 3 is just bangs and crashes while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
What's the other thing you're doing? Is it from the sex section of the drill book? Stuff,
Anything.
Learning about Control A and Control E in the book.
You're just upset about having just learned this today. I'm sorry, you can't get back that time you've wasted.
Oh my goodness.
He's literally in the terminal right now going, holy shit.
Holy fuck, it even works in the browser.
Works in the browser, baby. It works in almost every standard program.
I don't know what the source of that is, though. Do you guys know? I've always known that, but I don't know if that... I remember using that back in the Apple IIe days. Like, it's been a long time.
Yeah, so it actually does precede Emacs in the same way that it's because it's from... It's because of the layout of the keys, isn't it? On a Symbolics Lisp Space Cadet keyboard. I think like the control, because the meta key is way over, isn't it? So I think it makes most sense to do start of line is like Control and A because they're right under your fingers there.
Yeah.
The same reason that, have you ever seen a VI keyboard? Like from the machine they wrote VI on, on the the HJKL.
Right. Yeah.
They have arrows on them just on the keyboard by sheer happenstance.
Right.
So he was like, fuck it, that's how it should be.
Yeah. I never use that though. Classic.
And there's a huge fucking escape. So you're just like, boom, it totally makes sense. Like, both Emacs and VI are like massive products of the keyboard they were written on, basically.
Yeah.
So the first time I used Vi, I had to reset my fucking computer to get out of it.
Don't say Vi. Don't say Vi.
Steve Vi is text editor.
Don't say Vive. MX.
I think I'm gonna
fall. Say Vi.
MX.
Oh dear. VI or Vim?
Oh, sorry, Vim. Yeah, Vim.
Well, that's
VIM.
What the fuck is that?
Was that the baby?
Hey, somebody just fucking broke the baby.
That's not the baby, right?
It's coming for us.
It's not the baby, and it's not the Elijah Craig, is it?
No. It's just a pair of studio headphones falling for rack.
Oh, that's fine. That stuff hasn't been used in decades.
To search your prompt history to use the TX with the gap that works.
We've opened so many minds today.
Wait. You do know about Control R, right? You must know about that.
He has not.
Wait, you don't know about Control R? Oh my fucking god! What have you been? Do you type? Wait. Sorry, hang on a minute. When you already know you typed something before, do you not know you can just find that command again?
No, you gotta just push up. You gotta push up as many times as possible. It's just like if you want to go to the beginning of the line, you gotta just use the arrow keys.
So I'm assuming that Control R is like in macOS when you start to type the thing that you want.
What the fuck did you just say? Did you say macOS?
Wizard of macOS.
macOS?
All right. Did you say macOS?
It's a thing.
It's macOS.
It's from McDonald's.
I'm fucking killing macOS. I'm gonna follow the yellow brick road right back to macOS.
Have you never wanted a macOS?
macOS.
So anyway, is Control R like the thing where you start to type what you want and then just press up?
It's just a query. It's a query, and you can search for a term. You select that term, it'll run.
So do you know what I do? I always like grep history.
I could do that too. That works. There's no problem with that. I grep history.
I feel like there is now. Like I feel like I've just.
It's not bad because you can. you can grab history and actually pipe it into something too, which is helpful. But
does all this shit work in
Mac
in
OS?
Windows?
I don't know. Who knows?
Am I saying that right? Windows?